Welcome back to Nick Lenz's Doctor Who review, episode number 68. Now, this is the last Jodie Whittaker's one I'm talking about, and of the ones I previously watched. And then for the next about 2 episodes, I'll be wrapping up her era. So, why not? This is the second ever New Year's special, Doctor Who, the Revolution of the Daleks. Yes. Oh, and by the way, Chris North, the guy who appeared at Rackets of UK, who appeared back in episode 4 of series 11, he returns for this very story. He's not the only one. This book also, this story here sees the return of Captain Jack Harkness, who appeared in one episode to tease the story. Basically, the Doctor has been arrested since the events of the Timeless Child. It's there. But this one here is noteworthy for not only his return, but also Graham and Ryan's last regular appearance on Doctor Who. They do return for the finale of her run, but yeah, they actually the TARDIS with this particular story. Yep, this is their... Yeah. Now, before I continue, I had heard that the guy who played Ryan, I heard he was going to be leaving the show, but I did not suspect Graham leaving too. Yeah, that was a bit of a surprise, but... my guess is the reason why they actually had him leave too is because the characters connect to each other, because they're relatives. Grandfather and grandson. That's probably the reason why, but I do not know the reason why they activated Graham left, Bradley Walsh. Yeah, I do not know why he left, but him leaving was a bit of a surprise. Yeah, I did not suspect it. So, they've been living in the TARDIS as a ship, of course, in the house. Yaz has been obsessed looking for a doctor. Of course, Yaz has sex with the story even with the next one, so I'll get to that more. So Doctor is broken out by Captain Jack Harkness at the prison she was in. And, by the way, is she a fugitive after this? Not really. It's basically they arrested her at the end of Timeless Child, put her in this prison, and then she escapes, and it's not brought up again. No, seriously. Her being a prisoner in this prison is never mentioned in Flux. Never. It's almost like that was something that Channel had to do to have her basically have be separated, so reunite. So, yeah, it's also been implied at this point. Yaz has been obsessed with the Doctor, so we have basically have Chris North, his character, the slain businessman, who basically finds out about the Daleks, who one of his associates trying to make it to actual, an item. He thinks bad idea because, I agree with him. He thinks bad idea because you don't understand what you're doing. Because even he realizes, though, something powerful as Daleks is not a good idea. Now, here's the thing. This is the first time we've seen a Dalek. Now, I don't know why in the world that apparently that the Earth has kind of forgotten about the Daleks. Because it's impossible to forget the Daleks. Do you want to know why? Because they invaded the freaking planet during Stolen Earth. They occupied the freaking planet. How can you forget about the Daleks? It's implied humanity forgotten. Because at that time, the Daleks never come back to Earth again. Though the Daleks do probably get this a couple times in cameos. Before probably get their special. So Dalek return in much bigger force. The same Dalek from the previous story does return here somehow. And, it's basically like a sequel to the previous one, kind of. While also following up with the events of the previous one. That's what it feels like. It feels like this is not much. It's a little bit connection to the previous series, but it's also a sequel to the previous year's New Year's special. That's what this one is. Can you believe this special came out only 2 years ago? Yes, 2 years ago. So, the Doctor and her team basically fight out this one the Daleks, and they beat him. Yes. And sadly, these two leave, and of course, they had this brief thing in the start in the first appearance, first Joe Booker story, basically their debut, and The Woman Who Fell to Earth, where Graham is trying to teach Ryan how to ride a bike. That is mostly put what that is. It's basically followed up with that plot thread. Yep. But, yeah, this overall was a really fun story. And despite the records, it's there, It's like, moving on, moving on. Let's do some awesome stuff. Have Doctor take on Daleks again. That's a kind of feel like this is almost like, in a way, I'm sure the BBC probably got a lot of complaints about the retcon. I'm sure they did. They probably felt as though the retcon was a betrayal of the Doctor's character. They thought it was terrible. And they probably said, okay, you need to rail back in the retcon. You can keep it up there. We need to have damage control. You could say this story is damage control. Because, here's the thing. By the time the story came out, it had been like almost a year since the previous episode aired. Yes, a year. And I did watch this. I think it was like a year ago I think I watched this. But I didn't review it, but now I'm reviewing now. But this story is a lot of fun. I love to see Return to Jack Harkness. Always think with Jane Barman, man. When he returned the previous series, it was the first time in 10 years that he had returned. My guess is the reason why they couldn't use him for quite a while, and this is my personal theory, I think because he was tied with CW. That was probably the reason why, because he was tied with Arrow for several seasons. He was on the show for 5 years, and he got killed off at the end of season 5. And that was in 2017, mind you. Yes, 2017 when that aired. Because the show was first started back in 2012. And, let's see. Because I think that they were... Because he was just a recurring character on that one. Very popular recurring character. And fun fact, when Arrow first started, he was one of 2 actors I was familiar with. Because I was familiar with him thanks to his time on Doctor Who playing Captain Jack Harkness. An absolute fun character. A character who's openly bisexual. Yes, he was the first openly bi character produced in Doctor Who history. Well, as far as I can tell. The thing is, his actor, John Barham, is openly gay. And he's also a writer, too. I believe I actually reviewed one of his comics he actually wrote. Yes, he actually, believe it or not, he's actually wrote some Torchwood comics. Last few that's come out, he actually wrote with his sister. And he also wrote a comic book for his character, Mocha Merlin, from Arrow. Yep. But this story is so fun. And I appreciate the fact that they brought the character back. But will he back? Well, time will see. And with that, I'm caught up reviewing Jodie Whittaker's Time of the Doctor. So, next time a Doctor review, which will be tomorrow, I'm reviewing the first 2 of 3 specials. That will conclude her run at Time of Doctor. So, that's a particular view. Next up, Machuka Tensei, and 1 Comic Corner. Okay, next video. Bye.